What's up, guys? What's going on? I'm Paul. This is Pauline Theology's daily devotional, man, and we're going through the book of John. We're in John chapter 17. We're in the high priestly prayer, or the shepherd's prayer is what some people call it. And Jesus has been praying for himself. He's been praying for the 12, and now we are on the part where he's actually praying for us. And so this is going to be awesome, man. If you haven't read it yet, go ahead and stop the tape, check it out, see what it has to say. We're in John chapter 17, and we're going to do verse 20 and 21. John 17, 20 and 21. If you've already read it, man, let us first talk about Trust in Jesus Ministries, how here we want to help you to trust in Jesus. And the way we do that is by studying his word. The more you know him, the more you love him, and the more you can place your trust in him. Now, that was quick, but let's get on to it, man, because I want to jump into the scriptures, man. So the first question we ask is, what's going on? What's happening in the scriptures? And Jesus is, like I said, has been praying, and he prayed for himself. He's prayed for the 12, and now he's praying for us. He says, I'm not praying just for those only. He's like, but I'm praying those who might believe through their word. So remember when Jesus says, sanctify them in the truth, your word is truth. It is the thing or the mission, the goal that Jesus is to do, living out his life, dying on the cross and raising again, teaching them the commandments that they should be living by to walk in. Those things are what the disciples have now gathered. The kergma is what some people call it, but it's the message, the gospel. And now he says that we would believe through this word. How they were sanctified, we will be sanctified by the same word, the same truth that Jesus prayed for the 12 to be sanctified. And so it says, those who believe because of the word which was in him. And then he gives the reason. So we've talked more and more and often and every time that there's a prayer which Jesus prays, and then there's a purpose behind it. And the purpose behind it is that we might be one. Everybody, all Christians might be one, that we would be unified. Now this is the double purpose, because it says that first off, he's praying for those who believe so that we might be one. The reason for which we might be one is so that the world might know Jesus. Jesus states it in a way, it says that the world might believe that you sent me. And so it is saying that Jesus represents the Father, that Jesus is Yahweh, that Jesus is sanctified or set apart for the purpose of giving us life. Because when he says that God sent him, the Father sent him, then he means the purpose and the reason for which he has been sent as well. Now, there's a qualification to the unity that Jesus prays for. It is the unity that the Father and the Son have. And so we might be one just as they are one. We might be one. And Jesus, man, he talks about the singleness of purpose, that everything that he does is that the desire of the Father, that everything he says, represents, walks, or does is what the Father would walk, represent, and do to this world. And so we, as the church, the people of God, Christians, are to be unified in this same goal, the same manner. So what does it say about God? First off, it says that he deeply cares about us because he's praying for us, man. That's awesome. That is awesome. So God deeply cares for his people. He's praying for us. Second, that God desires unity in the church. He says this is the way that we'll be able to show the world who we are. Disciples of Jesus is because of our love for each other. And this love for each other is the unity that he calls us to. And then that God not only loves us, because it says God so loved the world, and we have been talking here about this unique love that God has for the Christian, but that God also loves the world. He says because the desire is for them to know that he was sent from God, that he was sent from the Father. That is his desire. What's this say about man? Well, first off, as all humans, it says that God desires for his manifestation, his glory to be shown, so that we might know him, that we recognize who he is. That is for all of the world, every man, woman, and child. God desires for them to know that the Father has sent them. It says about Christians, man, that we're to be unified. We're to be single-minded in purpose, that everything we do should be geared. And there's a reason for this. It's not just that we would be unified as the Father is, but that we might testify to the glory of God so that others can come into a relationship with Jesus. So as Christians, we are to be unified. But we are to be unified with a purpose. We are to be unified, and our purpose is to share the gospel, to share the message. So how do we apply these truths to our lives? I think it starts out with what Jesus said is, don't offer your sacrifice until you go and make amends with your brother. So if there's anything between any person that you know of in the church, make it right. Man, don't let the family be broken, because it is our love for each other that the world might know that Jesus was sent from the Father. But secondly, man, be that witness. Be that witness. You know somebody that needs the Lord. Go to him. Find that boldness, because Jesus is praying for you to do this. Find that boldness. And then, man, I've always got to talk about just being reminded of the character of the Father, that he deeply cares for us. He deeply cares. And just ponder that. Sit in it. Marinate. Remember that Jesus deeply cares for us. I appreciate you guys for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.